Hi, I'm Mike Lemieux. Some of you know me as Mikey or Giddy Up Mikey, and I'm the author of this book here called Dude, Where's My Jesus Fish? And today I want to discuss pure non-dualism, themes from A Course in Miracles. And it's been a little while since I've done one of these videos, last fall and into early spring maybe, or late winter. I was doing my Course in Miracles 100 series, but I haven't put anything up since then. Although there was one video of me I did in August, because I hosted Gary, Renard, and Cindy for a workshop here in Ashland over the summer. And I did my introduction for them. So I got that up on YouTube, but in case you missed it, I'll put that link in the description for this video. And that went well, the workshop. That was great to have them here. But anyway, the reason I want to talk about this pure non-dualism, because it's a major theme in Gary Renard's fourth book, The Lifetimes When Jesus and Buddha Knew Each Other, The History of Mighty Companions. It's an excellent book. I started my fourth reading of it last night, and it's really emphasized this pure non-dualism because you have so many people out there as course teachers who don't stick to pure non-dualism. They kind of want to make up their own course and present their own limited interpretation to people, and that might be more acceptable for people to accept that kind of a message, and I totally get that, because I was once a period in my life I wouldn't have been ready for pure non-dualism. But when you take A Course in Miracles and don't stick to pure non-dualism, it's no longer pure non-dualism. So it's no longer the Course. It could be another helpful teaching to somebody, to help somebody where they're at, but it's not the Course anymore. And Art and Persa really hammer home pure non-dualism in his fourth book, and they talk about the four levels of learning in the disappearance of the universe early on, which I think kind of got overlooked by many people, because they go into great detail about dualism, semi-dualism, non-dualism, and pure non-dualism, and make the distinctions between all four of them. And dualism is like the idea of just everyday life. You know, you have your opposites, up and down, black and white. And it's like the Seinfeld episode, you know, the opposite, where George Costanza, everything in his life doesn't work, so he tries to do the opposite, and all of a sudden everything turns to gold for him. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But then you have semi-dualism, where you kind of like, you're thinking that, well, maybe God's not responsible for my problems, and you kind of entertain the idea of a loving God and not this wrathful being that's out to get you. And then non-dualism is kind of recognizing that the universe it's all connected, we're all one, but it's a fake oneness, which is why Buddha had to come back. Even though Buddha mastered the mind that miscreated this universe, there's still another step required. So he had to come back one more time. And that next step is pure non-dualism, where you choose against the mind that miscreated the universe. And because God didn't create this universe. And that's the other thing in A Course in Miracles now. It doesn't use the phrase pure non-dualism. However, it does use many statements in the Course. The Course has many statements that fit the definition of pure non-dualism. So this pure non-dualism thing is just a label, but like I said, the Course has many statements in it that fit the definition of pure non-dualism, which means that this universe is not real and only God is real. And there's plenty of statements like that in the Course. And of course, you have to remember too, when Jesus talks about the world not being real, he's not just talking about planet Earth. He's not saying planet Earth is not real, but Saturn, Neptune, and Jupiter are real. He's talking about the entire universe of time and space. And that's another thing about the Course. Sometimes people don't think. And I don't mean to be insulting, because there's times in my life where I don't think. But because sometimes it's just easier not to think. But Jesus doesn't necessarily spell everything out for you in the Course. So when he uses the word world, he's not just talking about the world, he's talking about the entire universe of time and space. It's the only way the Course would be consistent. It's the only way the Course would make sense. Like Jesus will say, you dwell not here, but in eternity. Well, if we're in eternity with God, then that's real, and the universe of time and space isn't real because it's not eternity. So there are two conflicting things going on here. You can't have both time and space and eternity. So he's not saying you dwell here on earth, but you really belong on Krypton, you know? That's not what Jesus is saying. He's talking about the entire universe of time and space, not just planet Earth. Anyway, I have to admit I didn't prepare very well for this recording, but I wanted to get it done because I just did. I wanted to get it done and put it out there. And so I have a bunch of notes. I'll have to go back and forth here with what I wanted to say today. Basically, it's some quotes I want to share from The Disappearance of the Universe, where they do talk about pure non-dualism. And they say that pure non-dualism recognizes the authority of God so completely it relinquishes all psychological attachment to anything that is not God. And that's the practical application with the Course, is this thing called forgiveness. And forgiveness isn't about letting other people slide and, you know, you did wrong by me, but I'm going to let you off the hook because I'm a good guy. That's not what that's about at all. This real forgiveness thing is recognizing that the things that irritate us in our lives or annoy us or piss us off or make us afraid or make us feel guilty or whatever, none of it's real. And then it's not something to get upset about. So it's a matter of applying this forgiveness thing to remember that. It's like, oh, right, it's not real. I don't have to get upset about it. And that's the true forgiveness there. And you recognize what you really are and where you really are. And you're just dreaming. The Course in Miracles says, what if you recognize the world as hallucination? What if you understood you made it up? And there's another example of pure non-dualism. And again, Jesus isn't saying, what if you made up planet Earth? But he's talking about the entire universe of time and space. The other thing I want to talk about too, I keep saying please bear with me here. I'm pausing. Crap. I'm just going to take a second. I was supposed to talk about some statements from Disappearance of the Universe about pure non-dualism, but I also have some examples right from the Course, which is what I wanted to get to too. So I think I'm going to do that. So Jesus says, there is no world. This is the central thought the Course attempts to teach. And like I said, there is no world. You could substitute, there is no universe of time and space, because that's what Jesus is really talking about in the Course. Now, you'll have people that are very resistant to that idea. They want to make the universe real and stuff, but that'll just keep them stuck in it. And that's not the objective of the Course. The objective of the Course is to free us from limitation. And the universe is a limitation, believe it or not. It's a pseudo-oneness that Buddha got in touch with. And like I said, Buddha had to come back because you have to choose against the mind that miscreated the universe, that pseudo-oneness. Another example of pure non-dualism is that what God creates must be eternal as himself. There's nothing in the universe of time and space that's eternal. By definition, it could be. It's time. Time and eternity are conflicting ideas. And whatever is true is eternal and cannot change or be changed. So those are some examples of pure non-dualism from A Course in Miracles. The other one I really love, I gotta find it here. Where is it? I'm gonna type it in real quick. Here we go. There is no life outside of heaven. Where God created life, their life must be. In any state apart from heaven, life is illusion. At best, it seems like life. At worst, like death. Yet both are judgments on what is not life. equal in their inaccuracy and lack of meaning. Life not in heaven is impossible, and what is not in heaven is not anywhere. So this experience of being in a universe of time and space, we're not anywhere. We're really home with God. You dwell not here, but in eternity. And what was the other one? You're really home safe with God. Dream of exile, but perfectly capable of awakening to reality. And reality is our oneness and home with God. Anyway, this is kind of a different change up for me with this video. I'm finding that it's okay that there's a few awkward pauses, where in my previous videos I'm going, and then this one I'm like, if there's like 5 or 10 seconds of pausing, I guess I just don't care. Where in the past I felt like I had to keep going. I don't know. I didn't like intentionally do something to overcome that, but yeah. There was something else I was supposed to share. I didn't explain pure non-dualism very well. I gave some good examples though. Well, maybe I did explain it. I don't know, but hopefully you'll come back for future recordings. What am I doing? Another thing too I wanted to mention, and I've mentioned this in prior videos too, what A Course in Miracles calls the real world. And A Course in Miracles will say even the real world is but a dream, but it's a prerequisite to awakening to heaven. We kind of like have to go about our forgiveness work in our lives, and the more we do that, the more and more we release the unconscious guilt buried in the mind. And once we get to the part where we're no longer projecting unconscious guilt onto the world, that's what the Course means by the real world. We see it without projections of unconscious guilt. And when we get to that point, our time here is just about up, and we're ready to go home to God. What Arne Person would describe as a perfect cosmic orgasm that never ceases, an indescribable ecstasy that never ceases. Gary calls it the cosmic orgasm, but either one works. And I don't know who wouldn't be down for a cosmic orgasm. Jesus. Speaking of Jesus, that Jesus guy, one day, once in a while, I'll spend the night over at my mom and stepdad's house. And one morning, got up and my mom's getting her coffee ready, and she busts out this Jesus mug, and she's pouring her coffee in, and I'm like, Mom, where the hell did you get a Jesus mug from? What the hell are you doing with that? No, my mom's into A Course in Miracles and Gary Renard's books and all that, but she's not one to go out and buy Jesus paraphernalia, okay? So I was kind of like puzzled. What the hell are you doing with this Jesus mug? And she just looks at me and says, she puts her mug and says, "Start your day with Jay." So I found that very amusing because it was very fitting. Start your day with Jay, right? Anyway, what else was I supposed to say in this video? I think that was it. I just wanted to touch upon pure non-dualism because it is a major theme in this book. And it's cool too. See, I'm not good with foreign names and stuff. And plus the whole BC timeline thing, because Arne Person in this book, they discuss 6 lifetimes that Jesus and Buddha had with each other. Now, they had much more than 6 lifetimes, but they only discussed 6 of them. And I wanted to keep these 6 lifetimes straight, because the names, you got these foreign names that, like, they're just not going to sink in with me. So you got these names like Saka and Hiroji. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing them right, quite frankly. Shali, Wosen, Harish, and Padmaj, and Takis, and Ikaros, and anyway, I probably butchered some of these names, but so you got all these foreign name things, and you got the whole BC timeline. I'm like, I'm not going to keep this straight. I need some kind of organization to this. So I created this chart of the 6 lifetimes of the names of Jesus and Buddha, who they were in these lifetimes together, the time period, the location, and what spirituality or religion they were following in that particular lifetime, and what relationship they had, like they're friends in one lifetime, cousins in another, and they had other different kinds of relationships with each other. And so I created this chart, and for my own sanity, and I sent it off to Gary and Cindy. Just thought it might be useful to them, and Gary looked at it. He's like, you know what? I'm going to put this in the back of the book. So I was like, oh, cool. So here it is. Here is this chart, and this is the first 3 lifetimes here, and then on the second page, if I can get to it, is the other 3 lifetimes. So that was pretty cool that he decided to put that in there, because I think it'll be helpful to people to try and keep it all straight. Not that you have to keep it straight, but it's just cool to know, because at the end of the day, it always comes back to doing our forgiveness work, and we don't need to necessarily memorize all this other stuff. But anyway, I think that's about all I have for today. Actually, there's probably more in my notes, but I kind of made this video longer than I intended it to be. So I'm going to get going. Okay. Bye.